about Hong Kong that has validated the ETF, the Bitcoin one. Do you think that pressure in demand is then moving the needle in terms of regulations across the globe?
Absolutely. I mean, okay, so first of all, we have to look at the US as a bit of an exception, given everything that's going on at the SEC still. And that, by the way, our view is that the policies will change post-election, because obviously post-election there's going to be a number of changes. And I think the key figure that everyone's going to look at is basically what will happen to Gary Gensler, right? Because obviously he's the key voice around, sort of the current, I guess, SEC sentiment around blockchain broadly, crypto broadly. But generally speaking, it forces many of the countries around the world basically to look at regulation in the more positive way. And I think crypto really covers from a macro standpoint, covers a number of narratives. And I think two of the major narratives. The first one is a financial inclusion youth narrative, right? So in other words, for many places, they look at crypto and Bitcoin adoption, basically just that whole Web3 ecosystem, as a way of how do you sort of create opportunity for the youth, right? And so you see in places around the world where they focus on that, it's because how do you engage the young people, right? Because for older people, they already have their assets, they have their real estate, they have whatever. What's the wealth class in which they can participate in? So that's one narrative. And this, by the way, is really playing out in places like the Philippines, for instance, or in certain places like in Latin America, so some countries, right? So that's one area where that's basically pushing that. But the other one is that in other countries, particularly the more conservative ones, regulators want to play it safe. And so if the US says this is how to do it, then people go, oh, if the US is okay with it, then maybe we can be okay with it too, right? Which is what basically a lot of people are doing. So consequently, I think you should expect to see a lot more Bitcoin spot ETF emerging, even in the smaller markets, because of course the local financial players want to partake in that opportunity as well. Bitcoin is ultimately going to continue to maintain its consensus mechanism because miners now make about 20% of their fees from ordinals. It's one of the reasons why Bitcoin maxis don't like it, but actually that's the only way in which you can accrue value into Bitcoin. In the same way that ERC 721s, as in with NFTs, when they first launched on Ethereum, actually created a reason to have scaling solutions and a reason to expand the ecosystem. Bitcoin is, at the end of the day, when it comes in terms of liquidity and value and awareness, the largest Web3 ecosystem in terms of value.